Yo, party people, it is Ashley of SingleWomenChronicles.com, where being single is a beautiful choice rather than a miserable circumstance. I am here with my co-host, Brittany L. Smith.
Hi.
Right now, I'm all over the place.
Yes.
Okay. I am if doing the most was a person. And
on the day-to-day, any day,
on the
every day.
day-to-day, and usually my time management is wonderful, but I was so tired yesterday that I overslept, and my overslept turned into the day that I plan, which is like to the T, because time management is everything. It's going over. My cup is running over.
But it's going to be great. It's going to be great today.
But not in a good way.
It's going to be great.
No, I'm saying the day that... Whatever!
Yes.
So, we're going to do a little something different. I'm a movie head. She's a movie head. I love TV shows. I am the binge watcher. A lot of people who don't have TVs in their home, I don't understand them because...
They have laptops to binge.
It's like what I was saying. People who don't have TVs in their home, I don't understand them because that's just not how I live my life. Because my whole life, I've always been a TV head, TV buff. I know some people, they just want to watch listen to music and vibe out. I like music too, but I need some TV time. But, yeah, I will be reviewing some TV shows here and there. And we just so happened to finish Harlem.
The new show on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so spoiler alert. If you have not watched Harlem, the whole season.
Spoiler alert.
Do not listen to this. Turn it off. Come back once you have.
This is your warning.
I'm about to snitch. I'm going to tell you the whole thing. I'm going to tell you the whole shebang, okay? All right? Okay.
This is your warning.
I don't know if they do that no more, but I'm doing it today, okay? So this is your warning. Don't try to fight me. Don't at me, fam. Let me stop clapping.
See, you had ample time to turn this off and come back to it.
So I'm going to say it again. One more time. Spoiler alert. If you don't know what a spoiler alert is, it means that I'm about to tell you what happens in the series before you have watched it. So you cannot be mad at me because I done told you it was a spoiler alert, because I'm about to spoil everything because we about to tell you exactly what happened, because we got to give our opinion, and we can't give our opinion if we want to tell you exactly what happened, okay? Okay. Cool. You feel me? Cool. It's a mouthful.
So Harlem on Amazon Prime.
Harlem on Amazon Prime, y'all. Okay. So it's a 30-minute series. It shouldn't take you too long to watch. What's that, 5 hours?
I think it's 10 episodes.
10 episodes.
So good. So good.
So
good.
Puts you in the mind of Insecure mixed with Run the World.
It takes place in Harlem, New York.
Mixed with Sex and the City.
Yes.
So
great.
Yes, it's great. So I'm going to name the characters. I have my phone out because I couldn't remember everybody's name, because what's crazy is the people I remember name first are the people who get on my nerves the most. So I definitely remember Camille.
Played by Megan Good's character.
Played by Megan Good. All right, shoot. We had technical difficulties, so I don't really know where this picked back up. So we going back.
So Harlem on Amazon
Prime. Here are the characters for you guys. Camille, played by Megan Good. Mm-hmm. Quinn, played by Grace Byers, who is also known as Boo Boo Kitty from Empire. Then we have Shaniqua Shandai. I think that's how you say her name. I'm sorry if that's not. But she played Angie, who's my favorite character. And she's not necessarily my favorite. She's just the least problematic.
I can see that, yeah.
And then Jerry Johnson played by Jerry Johnson, okay? So, we have 4 friends: Camille, Quinn, Ty, and Angie, right? All right, so, keep clapping. What was your overall views on...
I love the show.
Mm-hmm.
I love the black female dynamic. I love that these are all educated black women who are doing well for themselves, because this is past time to see it, you know. I don't know why Hollywood just thought that black women didn't have it going on. Lies. So I love seeing we have a black doctor, PhD, professor. We have a black female designer who owns her own store. We have a black tech conglomerate who, you know, black women, especially black women in technology, is so rare to see and is so not at the main front. And we also have another one who is like an artist, which I hate to say a struggling artist, because Lord Jesus, she's struggling. So she's a singer. She's now getting into acting with theater in a musical inside the show. Spoilers alert, we said that already. And so they just talks about, you know, their day-to-day, their friendships, and as they try to navigate through relationships as well as their careers, trying to advance and trying to still be friends and make time and talk about their woes and stuff like that. I loved the character dynamics. I'm all for like woman dynamics and such, but
we're not there yet. We're just giving an overall.
Okay, what was your overall opinion then?
I'm about to tell you. As soon as I play this in. Anywho, overall, I agree with you. I love how we got to see a different dynamic. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but for some reason, women typically only have the same kind of job in TV shows. Mm-hmm. It's like marketing, or it's advertising, or it's journalism.
Yeah.
You don't typically see women, not even just women of color, women, period. They always have the same kind of job. Yeah. So I really liked how they tapped into
different professions,
especially a professor and especially a tech person who built an app. Like, that was beautiful. Even with Grace Byers' character, who I keep forgetting her name, Quinn. Even with Quinn showing that having an EIN, honey, and an LLC ain't always what you want it to be, honey.
It's not.
Because it's a struggle sometimes. It is. And people paint this narrative that it's not. So I just loved that overall thing. And then I loved the dynamic of the friendship and the reality of what it looks like in dating and just living in a city like New York.
In Harlem specifically. I wanted to piggyback because with Grace's character, Quinn's character, she does own businesses, but they talk about how she owned several businesses that failed before where she is currently now with her designer. So one was like a children's gym, something else was like a juicing place, something else was whatever. And that's real. People who own businesses, sometimes the first endeavor does not work. Sometimes the second endeavor doesn't work. So I think the fact that they had mentioned that and we're talking about that was also really dope.
Yep, failing forward is a thing.
Failing forward, because like whoever just tries one thing once ever and then immediately succeeds and blows up, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, even the mention, the young lady Morgan DeBun who created Blavity, she created Afrotech, which was mentioned in the series. She talks about how she had different endeavors before that one hit. And me, you know, I'm self-employed. I don't say entrepreneur because to me, an entrepreneur is someone who has people working for them. I'm not there yet. Most people begin with self-employed first, which means they employ themselves. They work for themselves. But they're the everything in their company. They do the day-to-day, their marketing.
They are all the letters.
They are everything. So I'm that. I've been that since 2016. And it's a lot. And I've had a lot of different businesses and I've been successful at a lot of different things, but and still working.
And different story.
Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. We're jumping into just the real of the series. I'm talking love how they showed the dynamic of having a parent who has money that can give you seed money and still having to go through life and keep asking them and just that dynamic and struggle because I'm not gonna lie, my whole life I felt like I don't have parents who have money, so it's unfair, and I felt like I struggle harder than people who did. But then when you see the dynamic on TV where that's not always true, because even if you have parents with money who can fund your dream, you still have another cross to carry. I feel like we always be thinking our cross is heavier than someone else's, and that's not always necessarily true, because although I got it out the mud, quote unquote, and I struggled and my cross was, my cross, I didn't have to answer to nobody. I didn't have to go and beg nobody for money. Like, it was literally sometimes rent due on a Monday and I ain't got no money on Sunday, but Monday morning rent comes through. Like, I don't have anyone I can ask, but at the same time, it was just a blessing. But like when you have to go and ask a parent, you have to wonder, are they proud of me? Are they tired of me? And then you see Jasmine Guy, who played Grace's mom, like, she was just annoyed with Grace, and it kind of ruined their relationship. So you kind of don't want that sometimes. So it's just a struggle. I'm really tired of LLC community. Like, just start the business and everything will be okay. It's a lie. It is a lie. Because many times you start a business, then what? And then also
it's not even starting a business. You just applied for the name.
Exactly.
That's literally what
you don't
applying for the
actually
LLC
need.
is.
You literally don't need proof to start an LLC.
You don't.
You can wake up today, pay $150, and start an LLC, depending on where you live,
and do nothing with it.
And then it'll expire next year,
and you have to pay it again
if you don't renew it.
What your LLC is, you put on a piece of paper. I want this name to make this company. It's gonna do this. And pay money, and then congratulations. Boom. Whatever state you're in, it says like this is an official business. Da da da. That's what it is. So people who think that because my business is an LLC, thinks that whatever, it's a small thing, or it's like, how's your little LLC going? Child. Fighting words.
Before I say what I'm gonna say, your makeup looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you got it. Done by Brittany.
Done by me.
So. 9-to-5ers, please don't believe the hype. The stability that comes with a 9-to-5, like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm just not called to work for people. Like,
but
literally,
you have.
I have though. I've had a lot of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I was such a good worker because my work ethic is crazy because I'm built to be a boss, that I can go back to like any job because I was such a great worker. Mm-hmm. Like, I never took it for granted. I put in my 2 weeks notice. I was showing up on time, like all of that. Except that one time she laughed and I quit. But whatever, I can still go back there too. I cussed them out, but I can still go back because I was that good. But anyway, like, I just wasn't called. Like, I would literally fall into depression working for people. But I will tell you the truth. Sometimes I wish that I was called to work under a business because it's easier. It is hard building something with your hands. It is hard building something from the ground up. Oh my God, it is stressful.
It is really hard.
It is ghetto, okay? So don't be ashamed of your 9-to-5. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with working a 9-to-5.
Absolutely. And I'm so tired of people making it seem like it is. No, I wish I was called to it.
And there's people who are. And there are people who move up, and there are people who make way for other people, especially for people of color, or change the dynamics within the company. Yes, we need more of that too.
Exactly. Okay, so we've done that. Let's jump into what really grinded your gears, especially as it relates to Single Woman Chronicles. Please tell me, you want to start or you want me to start?
Please start. You start.
Camille. I wanted to fire off on Camille a few times. I wanted to swing on her.
Time number one.
Time number one was when she let that fine.
He was
fine. That man.
He was a chef. He could cook, girl. I
don't even care. That man. I don't even care if he could use his hands. Have you seen him? Tyler Lepley
also can cook. That's a bonus.
Tyler Lepley. I think that's how you say his name.
Who plays the character?
Ian. Mm-hmm. I remember that. I remember if you find you get on my nerves. Yes, God. Who he find? Y'all.
God bless. He did a work.
Oh, yes. He did a wonderful work in him. Look what God did. But Tyler Lepley, well, Ian.
On the show.
Was Megan Good's boyfriend long time since college. They had been together for 5 years. He decided to move to Paris. Megan Good at the last
You missing
minute.
some stuff. So they were together. No, but you said he decided to move to Paris. He didn't up and decide to move to Paris. No. He's a chef, and he moved to Paris in order to gain like go to chef school. So sorry if that's not the term to use. So he got a job offer to go to the school for 3 years in Paris. The plan was for them to go together. Now you may continue. Because it's important.
It is important. The plan was for them to go together, and then Megan Good, doofy, that little doofus. I don't even know if that's a word. We used to use it. Oh, dummy. She decides at the last minute. I ain't talking like last minute, like a day before, a week before. I'm talking about the hour, the second.
Taxi is
on the way.
Round the corner.
Around the corner. They done packed up the whole house. She done quit her job, everything. She decides at the last minute, because she got stressed out and had misplaced anger because her mama didn't show up and she was listening to a miserable person. Whatever. She decides she wasn't going to go to Paris with this fine, beautiful man. That was strike one for me. I want to fire off on her because do you know how hard it is to find a good man? So, not just a good man, but a good man who, like, just a good man is hard to find. But you got a good man who is fine. He look like that. He built like that. He dress like that. He cook like that. And he loved your dirty drawers. And you let him go to Paris.
And he has purpose. He has ambitions. He has dreams. He has goals. And so...
And then the way he was talking to her when she was trying to leave. Like, it was so loving. He was like, baby, you breaking my heart. Baby, he was so humbled. Because she was, like, being all upset over stuff that was stupid. And he was just so patient with her. And he was just so wonderful and beautiful.
So, for context clues, because Ashley's stressed out. In the show,
she's stressing me.
We had this episode 5 years ago. So, 5 years ago, we see Camille and Ian. They're getting ready to go to Paris. Everything's great, wonderful, blah, blah, blah. Camille, she goes to talk to her boss at the time. And her boss is in a very not great place, in a bitter place. And she's like, why do women always have to sacrifice their dreams and their work for a man? And then you follow a man all the way across to Paris. And then what? He gets to have his dreams and you get what? Nothing. You don't have your dreams. You don't have this. Then you have 2 kids left to take care of and he leaves you for somebody else. So that's strike number 1 in Camille's mind. Strike number 2 in Camille's mind is she has a horrible relationship with her mother. She, I guess, doesn't see her mother, talk to her mother. We don't know the full extent of that through the series. So she makes plans to meet up with her mom. Her mom, after an hour, flakes on her and doesn't even text her. Camille has to find out, like, hey, are you coming? And her mom's like, oh, sorry, something happened. We'll see you when you get back from your vacation. Not realizing that she's full on moving to a whole different country, continent.
And that's her mama problem, not yours.
And that's her mom problem. So then... strike number 3 is that they're actually getting ready to go on the plane, board, with the boarding pass. The flight attendant person says you can't leave the country because your passport is about to expire in under 6 months. So you need to get that situated. So Megan Good takes this all as a sign, is like, I've planned out my life. I'm sorry, not Megan Good. Camille takes this as a sign, like, I've planned out my life. This isn't going to plan. I'm supposed to be doing this, this, and this. And am I just throwing my dreams away with you? She's having this whole meltdown, this whole breakdown at the ticketing office while her boyfriend is trying to renew his passport. Y'all seen the episode. Y'all know
I was
going
to say, they know what happened because I'm assuming if they listening, they done watched it.
Right.
And if
but
you didn't,
all
that
of
ain't
that
my fault.
To say is like, but just to recap so we can tell them what we're going into, is like when the taxi cab was 2 minutes away, Megan Good decides to have this whole breakdown. I'm so sorry. Camille decides to have this breakdown.
They know. It's both of them. It's interchangeable.
To tell her boyfriend why I'm not going to Paris. I don't want to have to give up my plans. I want you to follow your dreams. But I still have this to do and I still have that to do. Now, here's the thing. That's great for you and all, but I feel like we could have had this conversation 2 months ago.
Also, not only did she say I'm not going, she broke up with him.
She broke up with him.
Because he was like, okay, we can figure this out or whatever. She'll come back. He's thinking like, she's not leaving me. She's just leaving. Like, right. I'm just leaving her.
I'm just going to Paris by myself.
Right. But she literally just ended everything.
Ended the relationship with no warning and decided not to go to Paris. All the while, he had a whole engagement ring in her pocket.
His pocket.
That stressed me out so much. Because communication is key, guys. We talk about this all the time.
This is how it made me
feel. Her face. Like, communication is key. If you are having all these doubts, if you are having all these concerns, if you are having all these whatevers, nobody literally gets up and just moves to Paris overnight for a job. If they do, it's something suspect there or they're a spy. But moving from one country to another takes time. It takes planning. Mm-hmm. There's several things that you could have communicated to your partner about fear, especially if y'all have been together for as long as you've been together. No, it's not going to be easy. No, it's not something that you probably want to do, but you owe it to each other. You owe it to yourself to be open and honest. How are we going to make this work? What about my career? What about my dreams? How are we going to plan this? Holidays, whatever. Do we have set times? And mind you, this was still during like full internet times. Okay? This wasn't like back in 1998 when all we had was just like AOL Messenger with some kind of sketchy internet or whatever. We full on have FaceTime. We full on have every version of Skype or whatever on your laptop, on your phone. Plane tickets are still real. Plane's still working.
Stupid.
And we're just like, she made a decision about their relationship that didn't involve the other person in the relationship. Mm-hmm. And then she was mad when he came back with a whole new fiance.
As he should. He deserved it. Because you deserve to be left. You deserve to be left at this point.
To be mad.
But here's the thing. This is why understanding who you are and what you want and what makes you happy is so important.
Yes.
Because, of course, society or, it's cute to be like, know yourself. But I don't think we understand the fullness of what that means until you see TV shows like this and you understand it. Because when you know yourself, you can take, for me, for example, when I get overwhelmed or when I'm tired, I can't make emotional decisions. Because the emotional decisions I'm going to make are not going to be well thought out because I'm tired and I'm overwhelmed. So I'm not going to make the right decision most of the time. So I have to take a step back. So in that moment, she's overwhelmed. She's nervous. She don't really know what to do. If she would have known herself, she wouldn't have made that decision. She would have talked herself down because not every thought we think is the truth. So she would have been able to say, let me take a step back. I'm thinking this because I'm nervous. I'm scared. I don't know where this is going to lead me.
I feel rejection from my mom.
I feel rejection from my mom.
I feel apprehension from my boss.
Exactly. What if I go and this doesn't work out? She would have told herself, but I already thought this through. It's been months since we thought it out. We packed it. We planned it. And if it doesn't work out, I can always come back because I still have a degree to fall back on. It won't. And just like your boss, even though everything else she was saying was crazy, she did still land on her feet. So maybe this is just my story. I can say that because I know myself and I understand my triggers that'll have my mind all crazy, right? But when you don't know yourself, you just go all crazy and take every thought that you think and think that is true. And you end up leaving fine, sexy men that can cook on the sidewalk while you standing there looking stupid and crying.
No. She's gonna be mad about this for a while, guys. But it's very, very true. And I know that there's a narrative, yes, that women give up everything for men and that men can leave women. People can leave you regardless or whatever. That's true. You can always depend on yourself. But when you're making choices and to make them with somebody and to choose to have the best healthy version of that choice, it's going to take compromise. It's going to take work. And how would you have handled that situation?
I'm in Paris. What are you talking about? Oui. Oui. Bonjour. What are you talking about? Merci beaucoup.
Right. I too would have also been in Paris.
Where is my little French hat? If I could have got one of them today, I'll be wearing it. What are you talking about? What? I come back speaking French.
And then also, if like anything would have came up, I too would have been in Paris. But it's like I would at least have gone, set up conversation, stayed with him, talked about some stuff. If I needed to come back, I would have come back and done what I needed to do, and you guys work it out. But just her having a whole meltdown means that we're not in a relationship anymore. Where did that come? We were just planning to go to Paris, and now literally 3 minutes we're going to Paris, in 2 minutes you're not coming to Paris, and then at 1 minute I'm no longer in a relationship.
She don't deserve nice things.
So
she don't deserve nice things. That's why you need to work on yourself, and then she gonna keep missing her therapy appointments. You need to be the first one there. You need to be there before your therapist.
You need to be there. Okay?
You need to be in a session prior to your therapist, so you
be
can
there when the building opens
knowledge
up
from the last person.
Okay.
Because you need 3 sessions a week, really and truly.
The way that you're making life choices right now. You need to be really in therapy.
Honestly, I get it, because I too have suffered from abandonment issues and understanding and feeling rejected from parents. Mm-hmm. I've suffered from that, and I get it. You can go 2 ways. You can either cling or flee. Hers was flee. But both of them are defense mechanisms that's going to leave you single, okay? Single up in this piece until you get to the happy medium when you learn when you need to flee and when you need to cling,
and
right?
I've also been in the position where I've given up everything for a guy that I wasn't even in a relationship with. I was in a situationship, and I would drop my plans, make sure I was available for them, make sure that they had what they needed, was honestly sponsoring a child.
I knew. I was like, it gotta be him.
For just all my checks and all my sanity. You too can sponsor. Just ruin my credit. All this other stuff and have given to them and put my dreams on hold, forgot about my dreams, gained all the weight from stress.
Hair falling out.
Literally quarter-sized patches in my hair because of stress. I have done that. But at that time, I thought they were the prize. I didn't know my self-worth. I didn't know that I could still have my dreams. If I didn't know that they were the wrong choice. Because if you are the right choice, it is a partner who comes and like sits together. Hey, let's talk about it. Let's lay down our plans. These are my plans. These are your plans. How do they fit together? How do I pour into you? How are you pouring into me? How are we going to make it together? What is the UNITY, the unity portion of our relationship going to be like? And then discuss that further. But when you are in a situationship by yourself, when you are in a relationship by yourself, when you are not with someone who cares about your well-being or your dreams or your purpose in life, it is going to end up you having to care about that person over your dreams, and you're just left on the wayside in the middle of winter by yourself.
On the side. Okay. So when she said I didn't know, I thought he was the prize, I had to bring up one of my blogs right here. I don't know if y'all can see it.
What's the title?
It's called What Does It Mean to Be the Prize? And in this blog, I talk about how I had a very long history of thinking men were the prize and forgetting myself because I was constantly trying to win them as the prize, not understanding that honestly we both the prize. Both of us. But I got to win myself first, and then I can try to win you. Because if I win myself, I understand that what my needs are, what my wants are, what's going to make me happy, what's going to make me frustrated. And if Camille Raggedy Behind would have known this, she would have understood that either. Because I don't know. I don't know if she would have been at a point of maturity, if she would have chosen him, her career, or both, if she would have gone or not, because we don't know that, because that wasn't written. Right, we don't know, because the mature Camille would have been able to sit with herself and understand, okay, what's most important to me? My dream of having a family and marriage, or my dream of having a career here in Harlem? Because she could have her career elsewhere, but is it here in Harlem? But if she would have known herself and been mature enough to really go and sit with herself and be like, okay, if he wasn't a factor, where would I be? And what would I be doing? What would be my choice?
What would bring me joy?
What would bring me joy? What would bring me peace when I lay down at night? Would it be sitting next to him, fighting for my career wherever I am? Or would it be standing here in Harlem, us having a long distance relationship? Or am I unsure about who we are and what we are, and if he can bring me the happiness that I need? But she wasn't mature enough for that. That's why she didn't deserve that fine man who can cook. Because she didn't deserve him. She didn't deserve him, Jesus.
He's just really hyping you up at this point.
Yeah, so yeah, but that's why the importance of knowing who you are and understanding your needs. So can we wrap up this heifer, because she get on my nerves?
Yes, we can. Those are just our thoughts.
Moving on. Who we going next? We gonna go to Ty, or we gonna go to Quinn?
Quinn. Let's go to Quinn.
Quinn. If Pick Me was a person.
Or if picking wrong was a person.
Let me explain what a pick me is. A pick me is a person who literally does whatever needs to be done to be picked.
Like, you know that little kid in elementary school when you know the answer and you
pick me. So teacher pick me. So she's a pick me. She is the person, and I used to be a pick me, and I'm retired, so I get it, because I wanted the man to choose me so bad, because I felt like if I could get a man, I could be validated and feel good about myself. I was chasing. I'm talking hard blown running. I'm talking Sha'Carri Richardson.
You say running out here.
Running. She is a track star out here on them boys, chasing these men, right? But I had to come to a place where I realized that the right one gonna pick me, and I don't have to adjust who I am each and every time and go out of my way just to fit whoever is the week.
Flavor of the week.
Right. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say two things. two things that really got me. The first time we see Quinn going on this date.
Oh my God.
We already talked about the show is called Harlem. It takes place in Harlem, New York. She meets this guy that she's going to go on a date with who lives in Staten Island. Now, if you've ever been to New York, you would know that Harlem and Staten Island are not close. You, much like to the rest of the place, you would have to take subways to get there. But
how long did it take? I don't know. Tell me.
I'm going to say, you took about public transportation in the subway too?
Yeah, because she ain't have no car.
She didn't have, I mean, it's New York. Nobody really has cars there unless you know. I'm going to say at least an hour.
Yeah.
And
at 10 p.m.
We get into that part. First, you were in Staten Island. So you didn't say like, hey, let's meet someplace, convenient.
Like her friend suggested.
Or local.
Because her friends was like, he needs to be coming to you.
And he needs to be coming to see you. Or meet up someplace central, One. Two, he says, let's meet up at 10 o'clock at night. So now I have to plan my day to meet you in Staten Island at 10 p.m. Problems. Three, they meet and they're at a bar, like not even like a sit-down restaurant
that
type of
so
drink.
It's
a whole full club. People dancing out over there. They're in their work attire. They can't hear each other. We're talking about this is a first date, not like, So they're screaming over people. People are interrupting them, trying to pull drinks at the bar. That's a problem because it's already 10 o'clock at night. And while she's there not listening to this dude and having this dude interrupt her, she notices that the dude is looking at a chick behind her, checking her out.
But he was also uninterested in her.
He was uninterested
in anything she was saying.
And he was still looking at another woman. Full on, hey girl.
So what pissed me off was in that scene, I thought when she got up to go to the bathroom and she saw him looking at the other chick, that was her cue. Like, this nigga,
I knew she was gonna leave. I just knew she was gonna leave.
And she's gonna leave. But she proceeds to sit her purse at the bar next with this stranger to save public. Her seat to make sure the girl knows that she's with him. What? What in the stupid?
First of all, you in the whole New York City. We don't leave your purse
nowhere.
Needless
to say, we know that purse wasn't going to be back when
we
she
knew
came.
The purse wasn't going to be back.
Was the guy.
And neither was the guy. Left. And neither was the girl
so
that he was looking at.
She has no phone, no money, no nothing now.
And she's also responsible for paying the tab because he left her with the bill. Mm-hmm. But she ain't got no money. Riddle me this. So now, Staten Island, it's whatever o'clock in the morning. She's stuck there because the train's not going to run until 5 o'clock in the morning. She's stuck in Staten Island till 5 o'clock in the morning.
She ain't got no money.
To catch another train. No money.
No phone.
No phone. Had to borrow a stranger's phone to call her friend. Do you see how stupid decisions will have you looking? It will have you looking stranded and raggedy. I too have been stranded and raggedy because I've made some awful decisions, so that's how I know. She's laughing because she's no.
I've been stranded and raggedy. So I try to have compassion for people's character except Camille. My compassion I have for Quinn's character is sometimes there's an innocence with people that they want to believe
naivete
that there's good in people, but they lack the discernment to see that not everyone's good, and just because you're a good person, that doesn't mean that everyone's going to be
because you're nice
to you. And if you're a hopeless romantic, because I'm a hopeless romantic, you see most people through the lenses of great. And it's like bare minimum things that'll make you go crazy and feel like they're the one, and they're actually not. They're just doing literally the bare minimum.
What was the bare minimum of the guy, you think?
That guy?
Yeah.
He responded. He responded and asked to meet up with her. That was the bare minimum.
And showed up to meet her.
He showed up. Oh, and because she felt special because he decided that he wanted to meet her after work.
At 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So, run through of her, that incident, then she got tricked into a pyramid scheme. So stupid. And then she
but speaking of the pyramid scheme, when Ashley was talking about things that you give up, the guy, before she knew it was a pyramid scheme, he's like, hey, do you want lobster? Are you into lobster? She's like, yeah, I love lobster. The whole time she's allergic. Do you see a problem? Like, you're making concessions to
Deadly
accommodate
concessions.
deadly
You gonna die.
concessions to accept somebody else into your life, to like, ooh, this guy's the one. Meanwhile, she gonna go into full anaphylactic shock. And for a man, she not even gonna have time to get to marry or be in a relationship with, because she's gonna be like choked
And the
out.
thing that was crazy was when she ended up meeting a stripper who was actually a nice guy.
Nice guy. He cared
She
about her.
was about to reject him because she has this idea.
The optics.
Oh my God. I'm so sick of people.
Because
I'm so sick of people who
weren't what she
have
wanted.
an idea of what the right person is, but they fail to pay attention to who that person is.
It's possessions versus character.
Because this is what happens. We meet somebody. In our mind, we say, they the one. They're going to be it. So instead of seeing them for who they are, we're seeing them for who we want them to be to us. So we're seeing them as our husband. We're seeing them as our boyfriend.
Ignoring all the red flags.
All the red flags. Ignoring the blue ones too. Because some people, we ruled them out because she ruled old dude out because he was a stripper. She ruled him out and she was not seeing the blue flags that he had. Because he was showing up for her, actually doing all the things she was saying
had
that
things
she
in
wanted.
common. He was thoughtful. He was considerate.
He was consistent.
He
showed
was engaging. He actually took time to invest into her.
So she counted him out before seeing who he was because her optics told her, oh, this is him. We're going to count him out. So she was missing the blue flags, but then missing all the red flags with the other dude she was picking wrong. Pay attention is the moral of this story. If you are a queen, pay a freaking attention. Pay attention. Look at what they're showing you, not what you want out of them. Like, come on, people. Stupid. I have too. Stupid. Just dumb. Just out here floating. Because this boy
didn't see a red flag. Didn't see a red flags.
The sickness. I'm done with her.
No, I think we said everything that needs to be
I do
said.
commend her on chasing her dreams and having the fashion design and stuff. But number 3, we're going to go to my favorite character, Angie. I love Angie so much.
Why do you love Angie?
I love Angie because she is so free. And she is just a breath of fresh air. And people like her usually aren't judgmental because they just embrace everyone for who they are because they're so who they are and they're so quirky. So I just love being around people like that because they're so, first of all, they're funny. They are hilarious. It's never a dull moment. And then
the way they see the world is hilarious.
Yeah, and 2, they're just so free. And it's freeing being around someone who's free. Because you don't feel like you have to be or act any kind of way because they're going to accept you as you are regardless. So, yeah, I just loved Angie. And she was honest.
She was honest.
She was so honest. Little too honest sometimes when it came to her career because she was keeping it real goes wrong was a person. She was that. But her honesty helped. One, I feel like it kind of helped her friends because they get to see how free she is. So
her friends were delusional.
Right. And then 2, like, you get to pick and choose. Like, I prefer honesty over anything. A lot of people say they want honesty, but they don't. They just want you to tell them what they want to hear. But no, she was honest on what she wanted, on what she didn't want. And she was very, very aggressive when it came to what she wanted at times. But I love people like that because I'm not like that. So when I get to see people like that, it's like,
you're not honest?
No, I'm honest, but I'm not aggressive.
You're not aggressive?
With men and stuff like that, I'm not. I am very shy. People don't believe me, but I am. Think about me and Angie. We not the same.
You're not the same.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm an honest person when I know you and I'm in a relationship.
Aggressive at work. I don't think
aggressive with work, yes. But aggressive with people, as far as the opposite sex, no. Absolutely not. Like, Angie had a scene where there was a dude behind her and she thought he was fine and she was like flirting with him real heavy. I'm not doing that. This is me This is me flirting with a guy.
Look away. That's the extent of her flirting. She will look everywhere else. Nobody else in the room. Nothing else in the room. She got stuff.
That's me flirting with you. So
and then she'd be like, "Why didn't you know that was?"
If you didn't pick that up, then I don't really know what to tell you. Honestly, you don't want my number.
She's not lying.
You obviously don't want my number because I just flirted and you didn't flirt back. So I'm not understanding. We were talking about something with Angie. So
yeah, of other things, those are all of Angie's great character things. But one thing that I didn't like was kind of she's if you watch the show, obviously, she's a singer artist and she was in the need of a job. She's staying with Quinn, so she don't have a place to stay. She doesn't have a job, and she wants to do something artistic in her field. I get it. Been there, done that. The thing I didn't like was that she didn't really like everything was beneath her. She had a record deal, the record company, whatever, folded, and she wasn't on an artist on the label anymore. And so her roommate, Quinn, well, I don't want to say roommate. It was because she's living at Quinn's house. So
definitely
my friend that I stay with for free.
Exactly.
She was telling her like, hey, you know, the hotel's hiring, looking for a singer. And she's like, I don't want to sing in front of, you know, random strangers and whatever. And Quinn's like, but it's a paycheck and that's currently more than you're making now. Or different venues where you could offer your talents and your services, your talents of singing or some kind of artistry in order to have some kind of money generating, to have something coming in. And everything was just like, no, no, no. And even when she sang at a free open mic night and she met with like this producer, whatever, who was going to be producing Get Out the musical, she was like, no, that's beneath me. I don't want, what do I look like being on Broadway, being an actor? It's like, okay, but that's a whole show. You know, that's money. That's so some of the things is just like, sometimes like people can get so grandiose in their mind and think that where they used to be, everything is beneath them. But currently where you are, is not having anything. Like if Quinn decided to up and move, decided to kick you out, where would you go? Where would you stay? How would you eat? You know, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna bust tables, I'm gonna nanny, I'm gonna do this or whatever, just to have some money coming in. It was just, no, I'm good. I'm just waiting for something, the right opportunity, the right whatchamacallit. In the meantime, that's going to suit my level and skill set. Yes, that's true, but also, what are you getting paid with?
Okay, babe, you got to work while you grind. You got to do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. Period, poo. So, initially, I thought, I said that she was lazy. And Brittany corrected me and was like, I don't think she's lazy because she's willing to go hard and to work for something that she actually wants, which ended up being with Get Out, because she ended up being a nanny just so she can pay in order
for
to
the equity dues, right?
Yeah. So I Googled it, like, what is it then? So I came up with, I came to this thing called Illusory Superiority. It's a condition of cognitive bias wherein a person overestimates their own qualities and abilities in relation to the same qualities and abilities of other people. They have many positive illusions relating to self, and they basically think they're better than folks.
And better than situations.
Exactly. And so the issue with this is, baby, you ain't Beyonce. Baby, you ain't Jay-Z. Baby, you ain't even Kanye. But even I'm saying that, hold on, let me bring it home. What I'm saying about that is, in order to get to where your mind thinks you are, you have to humble yourself and do the work, even in odd jobs and odd moments in your life, in order to get there. Because they didn't wake up there. They didn't just do that overnight. That came with time. A great example is 2 Chainz. The reason I named 2 Chainz is because 2 Chainz was once named Titty Boy. He was in a group called, I think, Player Circle. And they had one song. They were signed. I think Jeezy was in it too. And they had this one song. And after that song or album or whatever, I think they got dropped from their label. And 2 Chainz, well, he was Titty Boy at the time. He was just Titty Boy. If he would have felt like, I'm beneath everything, I don't have to work, I don't have to do anything, do you not know who I am? If you would have carried that attitude, exactly.
I was with a group,
exactly.
I had a record deal.
Put some respect on my name. He never would have been 2 Chainz, because he had to grind and pick himself back up. So what I'm saying is, since you got dropped from a label, you're not who you thought you were. You have to reinvent yourself. So in order to reinvent yourself, you have to humble yourself and not feel like you're under or beneath anything. Because while you grind, you can still have a stable income and be grinding, have a flexible job like being a waitress or being a nanny full-time or whatever, in order to chase your dreams.
Uber.
Exactly.
Drop off groceries.
So never feel like you're beneath something just because you know that you're talented. You can be talented and working towards your dream, but still have a 9-to-5 or still be, doing something else to fund yourself.
Because let me tell you something. Bills are real.
They are.
And bills don't wait on anybody.
They don't.
Also, food is real.
It is.
And so is hunger. Mm-hmm. And usually food stops hunger.
It does.
And water is something you need every day.
Problem solved.
Those cost money.
They do.
And even if you have somebody's couch to stay on, friends to stay on, at some point, that generosity is going to run out.
It is.
And you have to find new friends.
You gotta find new friends.
You too.
They're sick of your mess.
But that's a real thing. It's just like, oh, okay, well, if you need to know, be in touch with an agent about where your auditions are going to come from. What cable provider do you have? What internet service do you have? What phone bill do you have?
No.
How are you going to stay in touch with those people if you don't pay those bills? You know what I mean? You're not going to show up to their office and stay there all day unless you have a job. So that's important. And before Beyonce was Beyonce and Jay was Jay and Kanye was Kanye, they all grinded. And they all took L's and they brought themselves back up and went through it and kept grinding. You know what I mean? Like, even Beyonce was dropped from a label and still kept going as the group. And so, and people who are successful, that Overnight Story, baby, let me tell you something. I remember very clearly that Overnight Story is a 10-year process, and that is so freaking true. You think people just pop up overnight, and especially now with social media, and you think that everything happens just with a like or a click of a button. That's not true at all. People work behind the scenes for a really long time and grind really hard, go through ups and downs, go through losses to get to where they are. So you gotta pay your dues.
You gotta pay your dues.
Pay your dues, Angie.
And another thing I wanted to say is, a lot, I get why, because a lot of the times people be feeling like they're above it because it's a defense mechanism. It's fear. It's like, if I go back down there, I may not ever come back up. And that's not true. I listen to a lot of people in their stories because I'm grinding for something greater. So I want to know how they got to where they are. And it also encourages me because I'm like, okay, they fell down too. They have to get back up and fail forward, right? Tabitha Brown. Tab is amazing. I just finished her audiobook. And she talked about how she moved to LA when she was younger, but she had to move back home. And she stayed home a while. She had a baby and everything.
Got married.
She wasn't there that long. She was only home for like 5 years or something like that. And then
and they moved, right?
Yeah, then they both moved back together. But she could have got knocked down and felt like, or what if she would have stayed in LA and been like, oh no, I'm just going to stay out here because I don't want people to think that I'm going backwards or whatever, blah, 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 worried about what people think. And then she would have stayed in LA, and then she wouldn't have had time with her mom, who was like her heart, and her mom ended up getting sick and passing away. Like, God moves us for a reason. We just gotta listen. Sometimes he humbles us just to, like, we'll fall back. It's like a slingshot. He's bringing you back to, catapult you forward. Yeah. Like, so yeah, don't be Angie. Like, just don't. And I feel like she was learning her lesson by the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't be that girl. Don't have, illusory superiority complex. Anybody got time for that? Okay. Last but not least, Ty.
How do you feel about Ty? Ty, definitely a boss.
Ty makes me laugh. Ty makes me laugh because, one, she is so pretty to me.
She is really pretty.
She is very pretty to me.
She dyed her hair after the show. Did you see it? It's really cute.
What color is it?
Like this ice blonde.
Oh no, I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna go find it. But Ty makes me laugh. She's very funny. She's very, very smart, very successful. I love her swag. I love her energy. Her confidence is incredible. But Ty, I'm gonna need you to do some self-work. because you think too highly of yourself. You are selfish, ma'am. You are
You are
selfish.
selfish.
Okay. I can't say you're self-centered because self-centered means that you only see the people. You only see yourself and you kind of like ignore everyone around you and you make everything about you. You're not self-centered. I feel like Camille's more self-centered. You're selfish. And I say you're selfish because you literally were married, ma'am. And you did not divorce this man. You literally just woke up one day, said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And you left.
And left. Did she tell him that she was leaving?
No! She didn't. She didn't tell nobody.
That might be problematic.
Alexa, play Keith Sweat. Nobody knew. Nobody. No, she didn't
Not
tell
even
anybody. And
her
that's
husband.
very, very, very selfish because you're only thinking about how it's going to make you feel. It's going to free you and you feel trapped, but you're not thinking about the other people you're affecting in your life.
And it does
by
affect
making
you
this
because when
decision.
she's, moving in with somebody and they're in a relationship for a whole year and they're like, yay, let's take it to the next level, move in with me. Cool, I want to, but I forgot to mention.
I'm married.
10 years ago, I got married, kind of still married. I feel like that's something we should have talked about.
Definitely.
Or you should have handled before you
Absolutely.
met me. And then even then with her friends, they didn't know until she passed out and somebody had to sign the paperwork for her to have surgery.
Absolutely.
And they're like, hey guys, by the way, this is my husband who I have to make major life decisions on that I haven't seen or spoken to in 10 years, who I guess now realizes that I'm not dead. I'm very much alive. And she wants to kick him out of her life. Let me tell you something. I would have so many questions.
My headache.
So if I was his spouse, because whatever he wants, he's entitled to it.
He is. So now you got to give him half your company.
And it couldn't have even been that. He would have just
had to
wanted
be
a
honest.
sit-down conversation. What happened? Why did you leave?
Yeah.
Why didn't you feel like you could
He
talk to me?
wanted compassion. He wanted remorse.
humanness.
He wanted
just
remorse.
show me that you're sorry. It could all be so simple. But she rather
She
make it hard.
definitely made it hard.
And so now we'll see what he chooses
In season 2.
in season 2.
Because another thing I like that they highlighted was her dating outside of her race.
Have you ever dated outside of your race before?
I have not, but I am willing. I am waiting.
I've been on a date with someone outside
I
of my
have been
race.
on a date. He was not it.
He was a great guy. I was the problem.
Well, at least you know.
He's married.
What happened?
At the time, this was when we were in college. I was doing an internship and still very new to acting, so I was learning my way through. I was learning about the administrative side of acting on top of the performance side. And while I was doing an internship, I met someone in New York. New York is a nickname for somebody that is a horrible
Ladies,
person.
nickname these men.
We nickname your names.
Until they earn their real name.
Until they earn their real names.
That's all
That
I'm
includes
saying.
it for your phone. So New York, I met him at the time. And other guy was someone who we had a mutual friend in common. And our friend came up to me and she's like, hey, are you dating anybody? Are you talking to anybody? I was like, not really. He's like, well, so-and-so thinks that you are so fun. I said, oh, girl. And he's like that. And I was like, this white boy is over here telling me that he thinks I'm fun. Let me see what's up. And he was a nice guy, great guy. At the time I was in my internship and I was focused on my career. And because I spent so much time there, I was worried about New York, the other guy, and who was not white. And
He dusty.
he's very dusty. And probably the start of a lot of my problems.
Dusty.
and poor choice making skills.
Dusty.
And other guy took me on a date and it was great. And he reached out and wanted to see me again. And I just always made an excuse and had time because I was starting to talk to New York because I was seeing him all the time. I was spending all day with him because I was at this internship. And I never had time for the other guy. He's like, I just feel like you don't have time right now and that this isn't a good choice for you. And I wanted to say that's not true, but it was true. And we ended up still being cool, still saying hi to each other while we were on campus. And then I graduated and New York ended up being a horrible person and I went into depression #1. And then other guy met the love of his life, got married, beautiful kids, lavish, all that great stuff. So
tragedy.
It is tragedy.
Tragedy. See, if she knew herself.
If I didn't know myself. I really didn't know myself.
She was Camille.
She
Camille'd this man.
I did Camille this man.
He was good man.
I just didn't know myself.
And then, I'm sorry, going back to Camille, she had 2 good men that she done ruined.
She did. She does. She didn't even tell her new guy about the old guy.
Anyway, back to dating outside your race. So, with Ty, her issue with the one person she actually had a connection with and actually could see a future with, outside of the girl who she was gonna move in with, that she ruined because she was married and dishonest, was just so happened to be white. And I think I get what she was saying, but I feel like it was all. It goes back to this whole narrative that people feel like you can't be pro-black and marry outside of your race. What are your thoughts on that?
I understand where it comes from because as Black women,
I get it.
We so much, for the people who don't know, society, life in general, America in general, makes Black women feel that we are at the bottom of the bottom. And I mean Black woman. Not like, ooh, you look like you can be foreign. Ooh, you look like you could be mixed. Ooh, you look like whatever. Like Black, if you are just Black.
Not racially ambiguous.
Not racially ambiguous.
Black.
It's just Black. It feels like you're not attractive. 2 is that for white men who actively look for mates outside of Black women, when they speak about Black women, it's, mind you, everyone in their family's Black. They came out of a Black woman. Their whole aunties are Black. But
everybody Black.
They talk about Black women, that Black women are no good. Black women are hard. Black women don't know how to love. Black women are a chore. Black women are...
We got attitudes.
Black women are nasty. Black women can't do this.
Gold diggers.
Black women can never have their hair right.
Yeah.
This is a whole problem. Basically, they just say that Black women are the problems to their existence. Sounds like it's a small peen energy to me, but
it is.
And it's just like, so those types of individuals date other races to show like, ooh, look at this trophy of this person that I have that's so much better than Black women. So there is that trope that Black women carry because I feel like we're always constantly having to prove, one, that we're worth it, period. One, that we are enough for ourselves, and that we are also great as mates. You know what I mean? And yes, then there is that other group of Black men who are just like, I love Black women. The person I happened to fall in love with just wasn't Black. But I still love y'all. I still rock with y'all. Y'all are still number one. And I feel, and I don't mind that. Like, because you're connected to a soul. You're not saying that, like, Black women are trash, let me date somebody else. You're not putting down an entire race of people.
Right.
And gender of people because of their race. And you're just like, my soul connected with somebody else. That's real. Do you have Black women who connect with somebody else and who are saying, Black men, I love you. Black men, you are still great. Black men, I support you. We have to protect you, and still show up. The person that they fell in love with just wasn't Black, you know? So I get that, but when character connecting to character is so very rare. And finding a good person and a good heart and someone who is suitable to you is also very rare. And sometimes it comes in a packaging that is different than we thought and that we expected. But are you going to be open to it? Are you going to flow into this person that is feeding your soul, is good for your soul, is good for your life, is good for your well-being? But the only caveat to that is they aren't the race that you thought. Then are you only your race? Is there nothing more to you than the color of your skin?
Everything she said. I think my issue with Ty in that was, one, the girl said it. She said, you are sexually attracted to outside of your race, but you don't want to take us seriously. And I feel like it was just because of what other people thought. She was so caught up on the outside world. Optics. Because she didn't have a problem until she walked past two girls that were black and they looked at her like she was crazy. And then she walked past the black guy dating a white girl and he like nodded her up like, yeah, you got you one too. Which was funny to me. Like, wait, what? y'all are weird. But
there's a whole lot in the you know, the head nod.
But what I keep going back to in this show, and I don't know if this was their underlying message, know yourself. Because when you know yourself, that doesn't affect you. So we have people like Chance the Rapper. His wife is not black. But I know Chance the Rapper is pro-black. Like, he speaks us. It's about what you do speaks up for us all the time. It's about what you do in the community and what you're showing us and where your heart is, not about who you married. Because, again, it's hard to find someone out here who you truly connect with, who you can see yourself being with for the rest of your life. We're not going to let this little caveat get in the way that they just so happen to be another race.
Right. And it doesn't take away from your blackness. It doesn't take away.
It doesn't. You can still be out here, you know what I mean?
We're still marching, honestly, we still giving to the community.
With the Underground Railroad and Civil Rights Movement, it wouldn't have been pushed forward as much without those people who came and campaigned with us who just so happened, who were white as well. You know what I mean? We needed their support is what I'm saying.
We need people.
We need people. We need them. You know what I mean? So we have to acknowledge that, like Amanda Seales always says, and I love it, it's white people and it's people that just so happen to be white. And we can't keep this narrative going. Like, we have to have unity. Because Martin Luther King's dream was for us to band together. It wasn't for us to continue as people, right? Black, white, purple, green, Asian, Hispanic, everyone to band together and move forward. We can't do this separate. The goal is we have to do this together. So it shouldn't be about who you are married to. It should be about where your heart is, who you're supporting. So that's my stand on that. And I would definitely date outside my race. So holla at me. And are a good person. And you're a good person.
Because I don't have time for those text messages.
Yeah, and you're not like weird and don't have a fetish for it. Because I don't got time for that. I don't got time for that. But yeah, so the show I think was great. I think it had some good. I think people everywhere can connect to the characters. Yeah. I think it was good. Anything else? Did you want to?
No. Love yourself, know yourself. Take the time to love yourself and know yourself, and it will ripple out into the people around you.
And also, go out, have fun with your friends. This is why, because think about this. All the women on that show were single. But if you notice, they weren't depressed. They weren't like just like going crazy.
My life has no existence.
No, they were having fun and they were still chasing their dreams and they still had a life outside of like dating and relationships. So you should take a note out of that book because they had both. You know what I mean? They were chasing both. You can't have both. So don't feel like you have to do one or the other. No, you can have both and still feel fulfilled. And make sure you have good friend circles and again, go out and have fun because it's litty in the city. All right. So I didn't think this was going to be this long, but here we are. Here we are. Comment, share. Let me know what y'all think about the show as well. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.